Hi, guys. Welcome. I'm having challenges with my live today. For whatever reason, it wouldn't let me access it. So here we are doing it this way. If you're new here, welcome. My name is, Arica Angelo, and I've got my laptop balancing. I shared with you guys I am in Prague at not a great Airbnb, I might add. Um, Interesting. The life of being on the go. So here we are. I'm in Prague. And so we're talking about what do you do? Wow, you guys just jumped on. Thank you so much for finding me. Sorry, guys. It did not. Yeah, I had a scheduled life. And for whatever reason, YouTube would not let me sign on. So here we are. Yes, I am live. So my name is Arica Angelo, if you're new here, and I have been a dating and relationship expert for 14 years. And this one is for the ladies. What do you do if all a guy wants is sex? And for you men here, I really would love you to chime in and give your thoughts on this as a man, how you feel about this. If you're like, Erica, yes, that's spot on, or maybe you have a different perspective on it. I would love for you guys to share about that. So if you are new here, please make sure that you subscribe, turn on the notification bell. And if you are new here, I don't know if you guys have done this just yet, but if you go to my website, which is ericaangelo.com, it's a connection movie and download to where you can start feeling safe with love and finding love and connecting with people. I find that giving lots of advice is great. It gives you direction on where you want to go. But at the end of the day, for us to really connect with people, for us to get love in our life, we need to have an experience with love. And knowing that, I created this connection movie meditation for you. You can watch it. You can download it. It's my voice with some very healing music that a friend of mine named Justin Byrne did years ago that he gave me permission to use. And so I basically put that music with it. So if you're really having a struggle with relationships within yourself, with connecting, I highly encourage that you go and you get that connection meditation. So there's my website, ericaangelo.com. Go get it now. It is life changing. Um, I just want to say hi to you guys in the chat. Antonio, hi, how are you? I am good. I am in Prague. We just got in last night. We just did an epic trip from the south of France to Germany, from Germany to Austria. We stopped in Italy, went through Switzerland, went to Austria on a motorbike. Austria was a beautiful country. I didn't know how stunning it was, but it is absolutely stunning. And then we drove back to Germany, and now we are in Prague and then in Berlin for the weekend. So lots going on. Robert says, "Oh, you're live." I am. Tong Peng says, "You're an inspiration." He said, "Oh my gosh, you guys, can I just have a moment here?" Topeng Jameer, I'm actually going to screenshot this. He says, "Your videos helped me and my spouse restore our relationship." Oh my God, that is whew, like sometimes I don't even know what to do with these testimonies, these compliments. Like, wow, to restore someone's marriage is like, or yeah, that's ooh, that is a big thing. Thank you for taking the time to share this with me. I love when I give people advice and then, everyone's kind enough to come back and say, "Hey, this is what your advice did for me. I put it to work and this is a change that it created." So, Tokpang, thank you for sharing that. That's really sobering to hear. And I'm so glad that you guys took my advice and that you did restore your relationship. I believe that most relationships are able to be restored. But when we don't have the right tools, we don't know what to do. And so it's why I'm here doing what I do, is to give you guys the right tools to be restored. Orville says, "Woohoo! Glad I caught you live. I'm so glad you're here. And you're traveling to Spain. Fantastic. That sounds super exciting. You'll have to let me know what parts." Ninja Wolf says, "How are people in Paris treating you? Are there any more available people here in Paris?" I'm actually living in the south of France, not in Paris, but I do love Paris. Antonio says, "Did you see where they did the movie The Sound of Music?" So I researched it, and it's on a field that you don't have access to. It's private property, but that was the one thing I did want to see. I didn't get to see it, but I did go to the town, Salzburg, where they filmed it. Dale, this is a good comment. He says, "I think men need love and sex in our lives. It's very sweet when you look into your lover's eyes in the moment, being one with each other." I absolutely agree with that. Yes, Orville just gave Topang a hand clap, and I completely agree. Uh, Robert says he's tired. He'll see me another time. No problem. Good morning to you, Derek. And you're going to southern Spain. You work between US and Spain. That's really cool. What do you do? So, this video is for the ladies, but I'm glad to have you men here to get your feedback on how you feel about this topic. Dale has already said that he thinks that men just don't need sex, but they actually need love. And it's true, you know. And when I work with men, that men say that they're like men who, I think men go through a phase when they're in their young 20s and they're still, or like guys who maybe you're not in your young 20s, but guys who are, you know, in their 30s, but they haven't like figured out what they want in life. They haven't figured themselves out. And so when that's going on, there's a disconnect within that man. He's not connected to himself. He's not connected to his mission. He's not connected to his vision. He's not connected to his heart of what actually makes him come alive. And so, like men, like women, like we all do, when we feel disconnected from ourselves, we reach out to sex. Because at the end of the day, we're made for connection. We're made for love. We're made to touch somebody. We're made to feel that love. We're made to feel the endorphins that connection brings. But when we become so disconnected from ourselves, then we go, I have an itch on the inside of me, not like an STD itch, but like an itch. Like I have a desire on the inside of me that I am not able to access. And because that person doesn't take time to find out what that desire is, what is going on inside of them, they go outside of themselves, typically to sex, to go, I need to feel that sense of connection because right now I feel disconnected. And so when a man is not comfortable in himself, he doesn't know his vision, he doesn't have a sense of purpose, he reaches out to a lot of sex. But in working with men, men who are on the journey of discovering themselves, of evolving, they will say, Erica, just sex is not enough. I went through that journey as a young guy. I was, you know, inundated by, you know, whatever, porn, society, Playboy, you name it, that said, you know, you just need sex. And I did that. But it was miserable. I got depressed because I wanted more than that. I wanted connection. So for a woman, when you're in a situation where you're dating a man and all he wants is sex, like he doesn't want any intimacy with you, he doesn't want to know about you, he doesn't want a connection about you. This is ultimately a guy who is very disconnected from himself. This is a guy who goes, I'm trying to figure myself out. I just want to have fun. I'm just playing the field. And so he has a very limited capacity for intimacy. And sometimes men are very scared to develop intimacy, just like women are. We get scared of developing that sense of intimacy. So we go, I just want to keep it down to sex because anything beyond that is scary for me. I'm just looking at some of these chats. Um uh or oh, you're a psychologist and you're into personal development. Oh, that's incredible. Monty says, greetings from Indonesia. Oh, please send my love to Bali. I'm missing. Indonesia. Ninja Wolf says, last night I asked God to help me find another person for me to team up with so he can make us stick together like bubblegum. That way we can no longer go break up and go separate ways. I think we all want someone at the end of the day. Antonio says, yes, he agrees with what I'm saying. Cayman Music says, as a guy, I used to want sex and now I just want connection with a woman. And I hear this from a lot of men, like men who are evolved, they're finding themselves, they're like, yeah, just sex, Erica, is not enough. Just two bodies bumping up against each other isn't enough. Dale says some women are very alpha. They need sex when they're working, kicking butt during the day. They get with their partner and need some. Roles can be reversed. Go figure. That is true. There's truth to what you're saying. So yes, when you as a woman, when you're in a situation where a guy only wants sex from you, what he is saying innately is, I don't have a capacity, nor do I want to have a capacity to have intimacy with you. And the trick is that as a woman, when you form that attachment, when you form that connection with him, and you are wanting more than just sex, you're wanting that intimacy, and he's not giving that to you. What happens is, because that connection is there, the bond is there, the sex is really good, what ends up happening is a woman starts playing mind games with herself. She starts negotiating with herself by saying, like, well, maybe that's just what I want too. Maybe I don't want anything else with this guy. Maybe that's just what I want. And she goes, well, maybe he will change. Maybe this is a phase that he's in his life right now. And, if I'm just patient with him, maybe at some point he will change. And so I think that this becomes a big red flag for a woman, for herself. I think that, when a man tells you, I just want sex, I don't want anything else, I don't want a relationship, I don't want connection, I don't want intimacy, I don't want to know what's going on in your life, I don't want to know about your past. I think that as a woman, when you compromise and you stay in that situation, you feel betrayed by the guy, because he's obviously getting intimacy from you through sex. There is that form of bond there, but he doesn't want to take it any further. So you feel a bit betrayed by that. But the reality is that this is a hard reality to come to terms with, especially when you're bonded with someone. Is the reality is that you are actually betraying yourself, and by downplaying your needs, you'll never get what you want in anything in life. We never get what we want in life by minimizing our desires, by minimizing our needs. That is a fool's game that nobody wins in. No one wins in that scenario. So for you as a woman, you have to go, this is really hard. I've got this bond with this person and I want more, and they're not giving me more. And it's almost like ripping the band-aid off the wound. You almost have to just draw a very fine, firm line in the sand, and say to yourself, I can't keep doing this, because this is what happens. And this is the other part of the picture that people don't see. It's like, have you ever heard the saying, if you're going through hard times, keep moving, because what's on the other side of a hard time is what? Your breakthrough, the thing that you've been working for, your dreams, your desires, but you have to keep taking those next steps. But when a woman compromises with herself and she stays in a situation like that, she actually is not taking any steps. She's just standing in quicksand, hoping that that same guy that made the pit will come and save her. He's not going to come save you, because he's made that pit. It's of his own volition. He's created this scenario, and you are choosing to stay and participate in it. And yes, it's very hard. I don't want to downplay that it's easy to walk out of this situation. It's not easy to walk out of this situation. It's very complicated. It's very convoluted. It's emotional. It's you feel like you've invested so much with this person, and it's like you want your reward. You're like, damn it, I want this to go somewhere. I want this to become a relationship. I want to have some depth here. But the challenge is when you get stuck in that pit of quicksand, and that next day that is coming, the vision that you want, the goal, the dream, the desire, the relationship, the love, the intimacy that you want, never gets to show up in your life because you're actually not moving forward. You're staying in a situation that is a dead end, that's going nowhere. And what you do is every day, this is going to be a very hard truth for you to hear, but I want you to hear this. Hopefully, this will wake you up and open your eyes. Every day that you stay in that situation is another day that you betray yourself, is another day when you look in the mirror, you see a person who's not worthy of being loved for who you are. And the reason why is because you're giving that permission, you're giving that power to someone else and saying, if you would just choose me, I would feel love. But the problem is, baby doll, is you are not choosing yourself. And by staying in that, you're negating who you are, and you're hoping that somebody else is going to give you the keys to be loved, to give you the freedom to be all that you are and to be loved to the fullest capacity of who you are. And the problem is you're handing the keys to the wrong person. So when a person tells you, I just want sex, I don't want intimacy, I don't want a relationship, believe them. Don't sit around thinking that you're going to change this person and that one day the lights are going to come on. Yeah, let's say they magically do, which in most scenarios they don't. But if they magically do, you still have to deal with the aftermath of that you betrayed yourself every day, that you felt worthless, that you felt shameful, that you felt like you were begging someone to love you in the process. And that leaves a mark. We don't realize it in the moment, but we're actually doing damage to ourselves. And what happens is we start sowing seeds of disappointment that starts partnering with hopelessness. And then we start feeling bad about love. We start saying all men are playboys, all men are immature, all men are man boys not wanting to grow up. No, that's not the truth. The truth is that you're standing in a pit of quicksand with a man boy and you're choosing not to leave it. And every day that you stay in that, you taint your image of love. You taint your image of men. You start thinking that all men are this way. No, not all men are that way, but the men that you choose to stay with are that way. And then that begins to paint your reality based off of your choices. But if you were to choose something different and say, enough is enough, I cannot keep wasting my time with man boys, with men who are incapable of intimacy. I cannot continue to BS my way through life with this. I've got to put a stop to this. And by you saying no to these scenarios is you choosing yourself. No is one of the most powerful words that we have the capacity to say to empower and to equip ourselves. So by you saying no to that scenario, what you essentially are saying is yes to yourself. You're saying yes to your future. You're saying yes to the man who is capable of loving you. You're saying yes to the man who is emotionally healthy, who can give you the intimacy that you desire, the intimacy that you deserve. But every day that you stay with a relationship with a man who just wants you for sex is another day that you are telling yourself that you are not worthy of love, that you do not deserve love. And you're letting this person who's immature, who probably doesn't even love themselves, to take that away from you because you're giving them the keys to do so. You're empowering them. You're equipping them to do that. And really, they're not in the driver's seat of their own life. How can they be in the driver's seat of your love and your heart? They can't. It goes back to what I always say. They can't give you what they've not given to themselves. And I think sometimes we idolize people, we put them on a pedestal and we go, oh my God, that guy's so good looking. That guy's so successful. The sex is so good. Yes, but if he's emotionally incapable, then he's not the full package. Then you're selling yourself short. You're selling yourself to a man who is half witted. And it's like he has to go on his own journey or not go on it. He can stay in that, some men choose to stay in that place for the rest of their lives. And you know what? Good riddance to them. Let them do their journey. But you don't have to sit there and suffer and put up with that kind of emotionally immature relationship. Vape King says, let me show this comment. It says, if all they want is sex, then it's time to move on. Unless that's all you want too. That's true. But I don't think for anyone watching this video, that's a scenario they want. Women tend to choose a player type and then wonder why all they get is played. It's true. It's like at the end of the day, I think, when someone is a player, when someone is incapable of loving us, most of the time we're playing out a story of our past. Maybe we had a family member who didn't love us for who we are. And so we're in this constant race to get validated, to finally prove to ourselves that we're worthy of love. And so we pick these people who are just as incapable as our parents were. And we go, maybe this time the story's going to change. It's not going to change because you keep picking the same characters to play the same play, and it doesn't work out that way. um Angela says helping the girls out there heartbroken and backtracking to the same men responsible for their mess. Cayman Music says some women attract men with the mindset of a boy. It's true. It's like, here's the thing about life and the universe and God, or however you want to see it. Like, we live in a system of sowing and reaping. And so if we keep planting seeds and the harvest that we get, we don't like, here's the concept: plant different seeds. But when we continue to do the same thing over and over, you've heard the saying, when you do the same thing over and over and expect different results, it's insanity. It's the same thing when we keep choosing man boys, men who are incapable of intimacy, and we go, oh, this one's going to love me. He's not. He's going to hurt you just like the last person, because it really boils down to he's incapable of giving you something that he's unwilling to give to himself. And I know with women, women can be very high in compassion. They go, oh, but it breaks my heart. Like, Arica, if you only knew what he's been through, if you only knew his history, if you only knew how the kids at school bullied him, you would understand why I want to stay with him. And I'm like, yeah, but by you having compassion for him, you're negating for the compassion within yourself, which is the harsh reality, is that you want intimacy and you want love, and you're not getting it. And you're putting that on a back burner because you have compassion for some guy who needs to sit his ass in a therapist chair and deal with his shit, as opposed to you thinking that you can fix, heal, and restore him back to his heart and to his masculinity. That's not your job. It's his therapist job. It's his own job to sit down with his parents and work through his trauma. It's not your job to sit there and be his nurse, especially when you're not doing it for yourself, especially when you're invalidating yourself and staying in a scenario that doesn't feel loving, that doesn't feel safe, that doesn't bring joy, that doesn't bring a smile to your face. Instead, they have you second guessing yourself. You're insecure. You're constantly afraid and anxious. That is not love. Love does not keep you in a state of fear and anxiety. If you are in a state of fear and anxiety with this person, here's your wake up call. That's not your love. That is trauma repeating itself in your life. And the every day that you say yes to that is every day that you stay in the same cycle from your childhood, from past relationships, from your upbringing, from what happened to you in school. Every day that you say yes to that, you're saying yes to staying in your past. And I know that sounds harsh, but I think sometimes when you're in a situation like this, it's very difficult to get out of. Very difficult, because there is so much intertwined, so much that's meshed in a scenario like this. And sometimes you need to hear very strong words to come in and kind of like slap you across the face, to throw some ice cold water in your face, to go, wake up, buttercup. It's not going to happen here. And it's not happening because you keep choosing it. Move on. Move on. And of course, as human beings, we always want the best for everyone. And we want, that person to be loved, and you have compassion for them. There's someone that you've been involved with, so there's that level of empathy. But most of the time, the way that we give other people freedom is by giving freedom to ourselves. When we are the difference, when we are the change, we inherently give other people the keys and the freedom and the foresight to go and do it for themselves. But as long as we stay in the same quicksand, the same pit of void intimacy, the more we perpetuate that in our lives, the more we perpetuate that to be a part of our story. by letting that person go and creating a new story. Who knows? Maybe they will learn from you. That's not your job. That's not your concern. You are your biggest priority. So if you're just having sex with someone and that's all that they want, you have to listen to them. You have to believe what people are telling you and not hope that they're going to change your mind or hope that you can prove yourself worthy of changing the situation. That's not your goal. Your goal is to say no to the things that don't serve you and to empower yourself to go, okay, this sucks. I want to be loved, but I don't want to feel anxious and fearful every day and insecure. I don't want to say this because every day that I'm in this, it hurts me and I don't want to be hurt. I think that there's a fine line with relationships because they are a challenge and they do take work. But when that work becomes every day that you're in a state of pain, you're crying, you're hurting, that's when you have to wake up and go, this isn't love. This is now a toxic dynamic that we're creating where I'm in pain and the other person is saying, I'm not going to give you what you want. That's not love. That's unhealthy. That's hurtful. So you have to be conscious and go, what am I willing to give to myself? I love what Ninja Wolf says. Absolutely. He says, you don't have to earn love. It's true. We don't. Topang says, I've been married for 8 years with 2 kids. I'm so glad that you guys took my advice and you saved your marriage because not only for your children, but that you can teach your children that legacy of, yeah, relationships get hard, but there are always solutions. You can always find a way to bring the sweetness back to a relationship. Antonio says, I know me and my girlfriend, we do connect to each other, that my body doesn't respond to another woman. I love her so much, even though she's in Accra, Ghana, I can still feel her love. Wow, that's really powerful. What a beautiful connection that you guys have. And the fact that it transcends internationally that way is stunning. Ninja Wolf says, is everything about a lover is all a lie. It just to get what he or she wants from you. I'm just going to have some water. Excuse me. At the end of the day, we always have the answers that we need. It's not like I'm sharing something with you that is just earth shattering. 9 out of 10 times we have the answer. The reason why we don't move forward with the answer is because we have within ourselves something that needs to be addressed. And we think that by getting that person to love us, what's going on inside of us is going to correct itself. We're going to get the validation. We're going to get the love. We're going to get the appreciation. We're going to get that person that says, you're beautiful, you're worthy, you're the cat's meow, you're the best thing ever. And we're hoping that they will get to that place that they choose us and say those things to us. And sometimes we're just asking the wrong people. If you're in a scenario like that and you're like, okay, Arica, I just can't quit cold turkey. It's too difficult to just walk out of this. I say, yeah, I understand you. I hear that. And so what you want to do is instead of depositing all those hopes and expectations and dreams on that person, that instead you go, who do I have in my life? Let me take some inventory. What relationships am I not taking care of? What relationships am I not fostering? What relationships could I be investing more into as opposed to investing into this? It's like this. Look at it as business. Like if you had one business and it's just draining all of your money, and then you have another part of your business that's making you tons of money, and you go, well, I'm just going to focus on the business that's draining all of my money, all of my resources. I'm going to focus on that. And well, that one's making me money. So I'm just going to let it keep making me money. No, eventually that one's going to shift because what you focus on grows. And I think it's the same thing that when we get into these scenarios where like this, where someone just wants sex and they don't want a relationship, they don't want intimacy, they don't want to take it deeper or further, no pun intended, that we oftentimes more than likely negate the relationships we already have with our family, with our friends, with people who are really there for us. We just think they're always going to be there. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep pouring into this relationship that makes me miserable, that I'm unhappy in, that I'm constantly sad in, I'm constantly anxious in, I'm going to put all of my energy there, while all these people who've always been there for me and who are capable of loving me, even though it may not be intimate love, at least I'm getting some form of love and validation, touch, whatever the case may be that you need. At least I'm getting some of that from them. But no, instead, what you do is you put all your focus on the person who's not giving you love. And it goes back to that secret of what you focus on expands. And so it's getting a reality check and going, maybe Erica, I can't leave this person because there's an addiction here. There's that bond that I just can't escape. There's a trauma bond. Yes, I'm betraying myself. There's a trauma bond here. Whatever the case may be. I would say you're not always going to be able to quit a situation like that cold turkey. It will take time. In most cases, it depends on how deep you feel for them. It will take time. So, in doing so, I would encourage you, instead of focusing on, okay, I just need to let this person go, don't even make that your focus. Make your focus on who is in my life right now that can love on me. Who's in my life right now that can give me affirmation, that can give me touch, that will spend quality time, that will remind me of my value, that when I leave them, I leave in a better state, as opposed to leaving them and crying and feeling disappointed and feeling hurt and feeling rejected. How can I invest more time with the people who are already loving me, and start making that your focus, making that your priority? Because what happens is, when we try to leave a situation like this, where someone, it's just sex, they don't want intimacy, we're hurting on the inside, we're aching on the inside, and we go, okay, I'm just going to leave that and I'm going to go to this. It takes time. And the reason why is this: because typically when you're in a scenario like this, internally, your love tank is running on empty. It's like a car that is in the red, it's puffing smoke and it's about to die any moment. When you stay in a scenario like this, that's what you're doing. You're running on E. So to find the energy, to find the capacity, to find the level of self-love for yourself isn't going to happen. You can't, what's that expression? You can't squeeze blood from a turnip. You can't squeeze it if you're already dry. There's nothing to be given back to you. And that's why I highly encourage you, shift your focus on the people who actually love you, who are giving you the love that you need, and start investing and spending time with them. Share with them this experience. I know sometimes our friends, they don't want to see us in pain. So they're like, leave that loser. He's a loser anyways. And they start saying those things. And those things actually, they may feel good in the moment, but they don't help. They're not sustainable. It's not sustainable advice that actually is going to give you the power and the willpower to walk away. What I am saying is, allow these people to fill your cup. And once you get filled up, once you feel loved, once you start feeling valuable about yourself, once you start looking in the mirror and you start going, damn, I am attractive. Damn, I am smart. Damn, I have a lot going for me. Why am I wasting this time on this immature person who is so broken on the inside that they have no capacity for love? Why am I wasting my time on this person? And actually, by you staying with them, you're actually enabling them to stay in that position, because they're getting what they want. They're getting the touch that they need, that their mind is saying, it's like an addict. Like, I need connection. And so for them, you're giving them the itch, which is like, okay, I got that itch. I need connection. You have sex with them. Great. You're enabling them to stay in the same place that they've always been, they always will be, unless they want to face themselves. Not your job. But by you investing in people who love you and allowing them to love you, the more that you get filled up, when you can look in that mirror, you can start being proud of yourself. And then once you're filled up, you can step back. You can assess the situation and go, whoa, what am I doing with my life? In fact, if I keep doing this, what is my future going to look like with this person? And then when you start looking at the big picture, you go, oh my God, do I even want a future with this person? No, they're bad with their finances. They're bad with their hygiene. They're bad. And you start going through the things that maybe you've been ignoring because the sex has blinded you to their fallacies. But then once you get that clear vision, because you step back and you're full inside, then you can go, wait a minute. I don't even want to be with this person. Like, this person doesn't even have, their stuff together. They don't even value themselves. What on earth could they possibly give to me? Because they're so incapable of giving it to themselves. William says, I believe that if the chemical reaction during sex can cause an unhealthy bond. I agree. Think about all the toxic relationships that are only sustained through sexual activity. It's absolutely true. There is that bond that just gets stimulated. And we can only come out of that by filling ourselves up with healthy love. And so sometimes we don't even realize that it's there and it's in our life, and we're ignoring it because we're investing in a person that is just wringing us dry. They're taking every bit of strength, love, and energy that we have. And here's the thing about sex. Yeah, it feels good with that person, and it may last 5 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, but then you're miserable for the rest of the week. You're miserable for the next month. You're miserable wondering when they're going to message you again. That is torment. It's absolute torment. And when you start putting strong language like that to it, that becomes your wake up call. Do I want to stay in a situation where I feel tormented? And by tormented, I mean I feel anxious. I feel insecure. I'm questioning myself. I'm looking at their social media. I'm looking at their WhatsApp. I'm listening to maybe who they've gone on a date with. Like I'm getting so obsessive over this person that I'm actually miserable on the inside. And it's like, that's you tormenting yourself by staying in that. And so if you're not in a position to walk away because the bond is so strong, that's why I really encourage you to spend time with people who really love you. Allow them to fill you up, allow them to pour into you. And seriously, if you're in one of those scenarios, I really, especially for someone like you, if you're like, Arica, you are speaking right to me. It's hard what you're saying. I don't feel like I'm in a position to walk away, but I hear you and it's helpful. I really encourage you to go get that meditation and listen to it every morning, listen to it every night, because that will fill you up. That will start getting into your subconscious. That will start getting into your nervous system of like, wait a minute, my body does feel love. When I hear Arica saying these words, it does connect me back to a healthy love. And as you fill yourself up, then you look at your toxic situation, the one that's hurting you, the one that's causing you anguish and angst. It's like, oh, this is miserable. This it starts creating this polarity. And when you have that polarity, you can make a decision. But right now, when you're in it, the water is very muddy. You can't see the truth in that. You can't feel the truth in that. But as you get filled up with love, then it creates this divide, and you go, okay, wow, this feels really good. This feels really crappy. I feel really peaceful here. And then right over here, I feel anxious. I feel fearful. And so, ooh, which one do I want to choose? Because every day life is comprised of choices that we make. And so this is where you start getting empowered to make a decision for yourself and saying, where am I capable now of making a different choice? Because the choice I am currently making every time I put my body under that person is another part of me that I'm betraying. It's another part of my heart that I'm negating, hoping that this person will give me something that they're not empowered to give me. So if that is you, I just want to speak into your heart and say, thank you, Orville. Orville says, we should all be doing coaching sessions with Arica. That's very kind. Thank you. Um, I want to say to you that, listen, my darling, you are so worthy of love. And this person who makes you feel useless, that makes you feel used, this person that makes you feel anxious, that you feel anxious with them, that is tarnishing the beauty that you have by withholding the love that you deserve. I want to say that this doesn't have to be your reality any longer, and that you are worthy. You're deeply valuable. You're very easy to love. You're worthy of being loved. And that love is to feel good. It's to feel peaceful. It's to bring a calm and an acceptance to yourself. And that those are the feelings that you want to be feeling. That sense of worthiness, that you feel so good that when you look at yourself, what you feel inside pours out and you can see it in the mirror. And I just want to remind you of what you are worthy of. that you are worthy to be held, to be told how beautiful you are, how wonderful you are, and to feel safe in that. So, guys, thank you guys for tuning in and for bringing your valuable input. I love this chat feature. I love being able to hear what you guys have to say. If you need more support, go to my website, aricaangelo.com. Get that free meditation. But know this is that, like, I love what William just said. He said, aesthetics fade, look for someone who treats you right. At the end of the day, this is the biggest question that you have to ask yourself is, when I leave this person, how do I feel? Do I enjoy my time with them? Do I feel valuable? Do I laugh? Do I smile? Do I have joy in my heart when I leave them? Do I feel full? Is there light in my eyes? Or do I feel hurt and pain? Like, what is the constant theme? What is the constant feeling that I feel every time I leave this person? And you have to ask, if I feel miserable, if I feel lonely, if I feel anxious, I'm only going to feel more of that if I continue to invest more time with this person. And do I want to continue feeling that way? And that's only a choice that you can make. But surround yourself with people who love you. Be intentional about it. Don't be lackadaisical and just, oh, schedule coffee. No, see them today. Let them put their arms around you now. Be immensely intentional about positioning yourself to being loved by people around you. Guys, I love you so much. I'm so grateful to have you here. Thank you again to, I know I'm going to say your name wrong, Topa, for sharing with me how my advice saved your marriage and, your family. That's the kind of comments I love to see. And that's what makes what I do worth what I do. So know that you're loved. Thank you for being here. I will have more live videos coming to you this week, and I can't wait to share more of them with you. You guys take care, and I will see you tomorrow. What will I talk about tomorrow? Tune in. You'll find out. Bye, guys.